my dear Jagannathan of the Indica group and one of my closest teammates, dear Shri Anbunidhi, Madam Valarmati, colleagues of Indian Economic and Cultural Center, faculty members of the Department of English, and my dear young students of the Ramakrishna College for Women. I am extremely happy to be here as a part of this Indica series to present my thoughts based on our own experiences during the last 24-25 years on this important topic, India emerging as an economic power. India is not just another country. It is a civilization. It's an ancient civilization with thousands of years of background and history. It is still living. It is the longest living civilization perhaps in the whole world. The ancient history of India is not known to us, many of us or most of us. But we have started studying India in the last 40-50 years, as a result of which we know, now we are getting to know the details. As far as I know, for example, we have the economic history of India for at least 7,000, 8,000 years, now 9,000 years. We have a history of about 9,000 years before us today, even though we do not have all the details with us. But we should understand that India is the longest living civilization in the whole world. When we were all young students like you in colleges in Coimbatore and universities later, we were all taught 30 years back that India was a poor country, underdeveloped country. There is nothing to learn from India. This is how we were taught. But today it is not the case. Situation has changed. India is emerging as a global power. You know, when we started collecting data after independence in India, 1950-51, we got independence in 47, but we started collecting macro details from the year 1950-51. So the details show at that time about half of our people were living below poverty line. So out of every household, every second household was living below poverty line, poor country. The literacy rate was just about 18% literacy rate, and especially female literacy rate, women literacy rate was very poor. The average age of life expectancy was just 32.1 years, 32 years. We can't even believe today. So in those days, a person was expected to live only for 32 years, lack of health facilities. So that was the position. But today, after 71 years of independence, you know, India is considered as the most potential economy in the world. And we are the fastest growing nation, overtaking China. So India is the fastest growing economic power in the world today. A few years back, London Business School had estimated that India had about 85 million entrepreneurs, 8.5 crore people engaged in one or other business activities. And this is perhaps the largest number in the whole world. In no other country you see so many people getting engaged in different entrepreneurial activities. Now in the last 10-15 years, all the multilateral agencies, international research bodies, universities, they all unanimously agree that India has the highest potential to emerge as the topmost nation in the world. The only question before us is when will it happen? Whether it is after 5 years or 10 years, 15 years. But everybody agrees for this. You know what is the reason? In a period of 71 years, how this change has taken place. If we see the contemporary economic history of the world, in no other country you see such a kind of U-turn. 70 years back, poor country. Today we are the most potential economy. No other country we can see this. What is the reason for this? The reason is that we have strong fundamentals, which many other countries, most of the countries do not have. If you take, for example, saving rate in India, the kind of savings that our fathers and mothers, elders make, it is one of the highest rates in the whole world. You know, on an average in the last 10-15 years, it has always remained about 30%, sometimes more than 30%. In one particular year, 2007-8, if I remember right, the savings rate of India was 38%, slightly above 38%. That means for every 100 rupee that our people make, 30 rupees goes as savings. This is one of the very high rates of saving in the whole world. Why? Because in India, in all our families, every father, every mother feels that it is her duty to save as much money as possible, so that we get good education in schools and colleges, because they give best of education possible for them. They may not take good food, they may not wear good clothes, but they see that we get good food, we wear good clothes. So as a result, so much of savings take place at different level, from the lowest level to the topmost level, corporate level. So much of saving. As a result, saving is part of life here. Without our people knowing that they are saving, they save money. Even when they go to small shop, they argue, bargain to get goods at the lowest possible price. So saving is a very important aspect of economy. Only if we have money, further activities will take place. So the economic development of India in the last 70 years is based on our high saving rate. This is a very important aspect. Second, lot of entrepreneurial activities are taking place. As I was telling you, this as students, even as teachers, we do not understand. Only when we go to the field, we will be able to understand. India is one of the most entrepreneurial countries in the whole world. Our entrepreneurial ability is much higher than America, than China, than almost all other countries in the world. Among the larger countries, we are the most entrepreneurial nation in the whole world. And that is the reason why in a period of just 7 decades, we have grown to be a very important economic power. We are all in Coimbatore. You youngsters may not know, but some of us we know. About 40 years back, there was we had industrial activity, but not this kind. 50-60 years back, it was a comparatively small town. 70-80 years back, it was largely an agricultural center. And today, according to our estimates, Coimbatore has a annual turnover of about 1 lakh crores. 1 lakh crores. So many industrial activities, business activities. Even today, we all use pumps in our families to take water from the well. Pumps. Coimbatore contributes about 40% of the pumps in India. Earlier, it was 60-65% 30 years back. Now, because of competition, all others are also making. So, it was an important pump center. It was a textile center. Even today, this region is an important textile center in the whole country. Of course, textile mills, many have moved out of Coimbatore, but Coimbatore region is the most important textile center of India. Wet grinder was invented here. A local entrepreneur, he invented this machine. We all know, you may not know, I don't know. In our days we know, all our grandmothers used to grind like this for idlis and dosas next morning. The lower part of the stone will stand still. The upper part will move. One of the entrepreneurs thought, why don't we do it reverse basis? So now, if you see, the lower part will rotate and the upper part will stand as it is. And that was how wet grinder was born. Today, wet grinders go from here to all parts of India. At one point of time, 90% of the wet grinders of India was made here. It's being exported also due to all local initiatives. There is no government investment, not much investment here except government arts college, government engineering college, government polytechnic and schools. All other investments are completely by the local society. Completely by the local society. They mobilize funds on their own, they work hard, they commit themselves, families support, societies support, as a result of which Coimbatore has grown. So like Coimbatore, there are more than 2,000 business and industrial centers in India. Tirupur is an industrial center. Tirupur is the knitwear capital of India. About 40 to 45% of the knitwears that are exported out of India goes out from Tirupur. The annual turnover of both exports and then domestic business is more than 65,000 crores. One center, 65,000 crores. Only one business. So like this, there are clusters across the country. Like Coimbatore, like Tirupur, we have Ludhiana in Punjab, we have Surat in Gujarat, we have Ahmedabad in Gujarat. There are many clusters, more than 2,000 clusters. All these clusters are completely built by the local people. Without foreign investments, without input from educational institutions like us, without people like us, economists, engineers, professors going there and advising. Completely built by the ordinary people. Why do they do it? They do it because they feel that they have to create fortune so that they can give better life to their children. And that is how India has been growing in the last 70 years. So we are emerging as a role model for the rest of the world. And what is the basis? What is the reason for this? The reason is our family and then our social systems, community systems. India is very largely a family-oriented society. So it is the families that decide everything here. Nobody is an individual in India. Everybody is part of the family. So families work for individuals. And whatever our parents do, they do it for ourselves. Whatever decision a father takes, he consults mother, grandparents, so that their children and grandchildren will have a better life. And this is how India has been growing. Generations together. Our social systems, our tendency to be part of the larger village community, town community, this is again a very important aspect in India. We have a saying in Sanskrit, Vasudeva Kudumbakam. In Tamil we say, Yadum Ure Yavarum Kedir. We accept everybody as part of us. And this is one unique quality that is helping India to grow economically. In the Western countries, people live like individuals. Even if somebody earns money, he will earn money or she will earn money only for himself or herself. Beyond a point, they don't care about children. Beyond a point, they don't care about their spouses. And that is how they have been living. As a result, in the Western countries we see today, whether it is America or European countries, the society have become individualistic. They live for themselves. As a result, family system has weakened and societies have become deteriorated. A few years back, one of the famous authors by name Robert Putnam, he wrote a book called Bowling Alone. In a cricket field, you cannot bowl alone. There should be batsmen, there should be fieldsmen. They all have to be there, otherwise there is no use of our bowling. But in the Western countries, he said, if at all somebody has to play, one has to bowl for oneself. So this is the system, because over the years, in the name of individuality, they have destroyed the family systems. And what is the consequence? As a result of which, government has to spend money to protect families, to take care of the families, to take care of the societies. A few years back, about 7-8 years back, there was huge riots in London. Huge riots. It continued for 7-8 days. The London police could not control them. Why? Because all the people who were engaged in riots were youngsters. School-going children. 11 years, 12 years, 13 years. What were they doing? They were going to the shops, departmental stores, taking whatever they could take, TV sets, computer, etc., going out. In fact, I happened to see in those days the visuals. You know, some of the children, when they came out with their stolen items, whether it was computers or other items, they were posing for photographs without knowing that they were committing a serious crime. So that was the situation. So it was continuing for 7-8 days. After that, it got subsided. Immediately after that, the Prime Minister of the then Prime Minister of UK appeared in TV and then said, you know, whatever has happened is due to our failure to protect our children, because during the last 40-50 years, we have neglected this family system. As a result, people don't live like husband and wife. There is no family system in many of the Western countries. As a result, they don't take care of the children. Because children are not taken care, they become juveniles. They become addicted to committing mistakes and many times crimes also. So he said, it is our failure. It is not the problem of the children. It is due to the fault of the elders. He apologized before the nation, and this is how it is happening in many of the Western countries. If you take England, their population is less than the population of Tamil Nadu. Tamil Nadu population is about 7.3 crores. UK population less than 6 crores. If we see the details, you know, in UK alone, there are 12 crore credit cards. 12 crore credit cards. Leaving out small children, elders. If we take adults, then for every adult, they have 3, 4, 5 credit cards. That means they have these cards, they go and borrow, take money from one bank in the morning, one bank during noontime, one bank during evening. So as a result, they borrow and spend money. There is no control. Why? There is no family system. There are no elders. So this is the biggest problem that the West is facing today. In America, same situation. You know, their population is about 31-32 crores. But there are 120 crore credit cards in circulation in America. There are no savings. Their saving rate is 2%, 3%. People don't save money because they don't have families. As a result, their economies are suffering. And who will take care of these children who do not have parents, or they have what we call single mother, single father, single parent, which we cannot even imagine. They have all these single parent system, single mother system, single father system. Who takes care of them? Naturally, the government. Why do they take care? Government also doesn't want to take care. Otherwise, there will be confusion, chaos in the society. So as a result, they are taking care. And how much money they are spending for this? You will be surprised to know when I say this. You know, we calculate, whenever we compare the economies of different countries, we use one economic measure called GDP, Gross Domestic Product. Every year, how much worth of goods are made, activities are taking place. You know, this is called GDP. In the Western countries, about 20 to 35% of their GDP annually is spent on maintaining families, maintaining societies. This is called social security expenditure. So almost 25 to 30% of the GDP every year is spent on maintaining families. Why do they maintain? If they do not do it, then the society will break. So this is the problem for them. But we have largely family system intact. We have largely community system intact. And this is what has been helping us to economically grow also. It is not just a social or cultural issue. It is an economic issue also. We have to understand all these things are interconnected. So the biggest advantage for us is this family and social systems. And what is the foundation for all these systems? It is our culture. So it is the culture of India that is making India to grow slowly. Rate may be slow during the previous decades, but it is the culture that is helping us to grow. As I have been telling you earlier when I began my speech, India is an ancient civilization. You know, the Britishers came here during the 18th century. Till the Britishers came here, we were the most richest country in the world. We were the superpower in the world. Now we have economic details, data for the last 2019 years. There is a group called OECD, Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. This is the group of rich countries. They have their head office in Paris, France. So they wanted to study how economies moved during the last 2000 years, beginning from zero CE. Now we are living in an era called Common Era. We are in the 2019th year of the Common Era, because for the Westerners, entire life is only for 2000 years. They cannot imagine beyond that. But for us, we have a very long history. But even if we take this 2000 years, now 2009 years, we come to know through their studies, OECD studies, that India remained as the most powerful economy, most prosperous economy for at least 1750 years during the last 2000 years, almost 80 to 85% of the time. During the beginning of the Common Era, India's contribution to global economy was 33%. We had 1/3 of our global wealth here. 1/3 of global production was here. 1/3 of industrial activity was here. And our university system got established here. The first university in the world was established here in 2700 years back. So we were pioneers in education. And this system continued with India and China remaining as the most powerful economies. China was most of the time behind us. When India's share was 33%, China's share of global economy was 26%. You know, we were the top two global powers in the whole world. And this system continued almost for 1800 years without any interruption. But the Britishers, entry of the Britishers changed all that, because they began to interfere in our economic systems, education systems, industrial systems. They destroyed the systems, as a result of which we became a poor country. You know, when the Britishers came here, they started collecting details with regard to the number of schools and colleges functioning in India. You will be surprised to know when I say this, in the 1820s, they undertook this survey in different parts of the country. According to their survey in Western Tamil Nadu, you know, we are in Western Tamil Nadu, the number of higher educational institutions, similar to colleges, that were functioning was 173, according to the British documents. So some 180 years back, we had the almost similar number of colleges that we have today. We may have something more, but we had 173 colleges, higher educational institutions that time. As a result, according to them, not us, according to their document, our literacy rate in 1820s was 75%, the highest in the world, highest in the world. Literacy rate in those days means not just signing. Our elders, some of you may be knowing, they knew everything about astronomy, all basic details, mathematics. So literacy rate in those days mean much higher knowledge than what we have today. So we were the country having highest literacy rate. That was the position. But all this changed in a period of about 60-65 years. 1820, 75% literacy rate. 1891, our literacy rate came down to just 9%, with women literacy just 6%. Why? The Britishers destroyed our native education system. So in a period of just 60-65 years, our education system, native system, was wiped out. And this is how we became a poor country. So at the time of independence, our contribution to global GDP was just 4%. From 33%, our contribution came down to 4%. So that is how we became a poor nation. But after independence, when we became free, you know, our people immediately started working. And that is due to our native genius. If we see the government, macroeconomic policy making, our policy makers believed in those days, much of the independence period for almost 65 years, they believed that only these Western approaches would help us. So for about 30-35 years, Jawaharlal Nehru believed that only the socialistic system would help us. So he framed policies based on that socialistic approach. But socialism failed even in its own birthplace. Karma Bhumi, Soviet Russia. Soviet Russia was broken into 14 pieces. 1989, communism failed. Everybody accepted it. Then immediately after 1 year, there was a problem for India. Heavy economic problem. India did not even have money to pay for the import of oils. So we were suffering for funds. So the then government led by one Chandrasekhar, he took our all gold stock, pledged it with Bank of England, got some money, and that is how we paid for imports. In 1990, again when we wanted to adopt a new approach for policy making, our policy makers again opted for a Western approach only, namely the America-driven, capitalist, market-driven approach. Again our country had problems because both these approaches are not born here. They were born in Europe, Western countries, based on their own conditions. Rabindranath Tagore once said, God has given different question papers to different countries. So if I want to answer my question paper, India, I have to see my questions. But for about 60-65 years, we have been copying either Russia or America, and that is how we failed. They had also failed. In 2008, there was a huge economic crisis in the world, as a result of which the Western economic approaches, capitalistic approaches, have failed to a very large extent. But you see, in spite of all these failures at the top level, India has been growing. It is due to our strong foundations, our family system, our community system, our culture. In all these things, our women play a dominant role, important role. During the last 23-24 years, wherever we went, whenever we approach our people, especially the entrepreneurs, we ask them, sir, what is the reason behind your success? They will say, sir, it is due to my mother. Some would say, sir, it is due to my wife. Some even grandmothers, some even sisters. And the contribution of women folk to the family and ultimately to the success of Indian businesses, Indian economy is enormous. In fact, we have been documenting about it. I thought I should share some of the important aspects with you, because in India, women means motherhood. Women implies divinity. We give the greatest respect to women in our culture. The greatest respect is given. Mahabharata says, wherever women are respected, that society will be prosperous. And that is what we have been seeing in India. In the Western countries, I can confidently say, in the last 40-50 years, they have deteriorated. They have almost destroyed their economic systems because they did not give respect to women. They commodified womanhood, and as a result of which now they are seeing their failure. If you want family, there should be women. Women should be respected. Only when there is family, there will be savings. There will be economic activities, productive activities. There will be peace. Only when there is family, there will be peaceful society. The West has destroyed everything in the name of individuality and by commodifying women. But in India, we still treat women as mothers, much more than that, divine beings. So this is what we have been saying. You must have seen hotels here, Ananda Bhavan, Arya Bhavan, Vasanta Bhavan hotels. Some of our girls from PhD Technology, some 15 years back, we sent them to study the reasons behind the success of this Arya Bhavan, Ananda Bhavan, Vasanta Bhavan hotels. Now these hotels are there not just in Tamil Nadu, they are there across the country in other parts also, in different other countries also. So they are there everywhere today. And the promoters of these hotels come from just 3 villages in central Tamil Nadu. When we went and studied them, we got a surprise information. 20% of the promoters said the initial funds, the initial capital for our businesses came from our sisters' families. We were surprised. Sisters, after their marriage, go to their husbands' families, in-laws' families, nudge their husbands, compel them to give some money to their brothers. And that is how 20% of the hotels in Tamil Nadu, Bari Bhavan, Ananda Bhavan, Vasanta Bhavan were born. Can you believe this? But this is how Indian economy has been functioning. Can you see a single word about the role of women, sisters, in our economic textbooks, management textbooks? No. Because all our textbooks are based on Western theories, largely individualistic in their approaches. But this is how India has been functioning. And wherever we went, successful entrepreneurs, they all said our success is due to our mothers. I'll narrate just one incident, but there are several incidents. In fact, I have written about it in English and Tamil. There is a successful businessman by name Sundaram. He is in Coimbatore now, very near to our college. In fact, you can visit him one day. The same road, Avarambalayam road, if you visit about maybe 2 furlongs, he has a huge factory building. So he is running his business from there. He is actually from Tirupur. He had studied only up to 3rd standard, just 3rd standard, because he could not study beyond it. And he was working in small factories doing all sorts of work. But he always thought that he was capable of doing something more. So after getting experience in different small factories, he wanted to do something on his own. So once in Tirupur, you know, every year these international exhibitions happen. As I told you, Tirupur today is an international business center where many foreigners visit to see the factories, facilities and all. So every year machinery exhibition takes place there. So one year, about 20 years back, he went to see one of the exhibitions. He saw a machine called compacting machine. This compacting machine is a machine used to remove shrinkages. So after these bunions, all other items are made, these items will go through this compacting machine. When it comes out, you know, you see no shrinkages at all. This is called compacting machine. He thought, why don't we make this machine? Can you imagine a 3rd standard failed man, youngster, about 24 years, 23, 24 years old then, wanting to make a machine. And that machine was supplied by a multinational company, American company. And during that time, that was the only company supplying that, making and supplying that machine throughout the world. Throughout the world. He thought of making it. He came home. He told his father. His father said, I can't give you money, capital, because you have a brother, you have sisters, unmarried sisters. So I have to take care of them. And I can't give you money. But he wanted to do something on his own. He went to his mother. You know, mothers always have special affection for sons. Mother said, don't worry, I will give you money. You know, our mothers, most of our mothers have their own separate accounts. Lady teachers know. They have their own separate accounts. So they earn some money, they keep it safely for the family only. But whenever there is need, they will do it. So this is how they function. And this boy, when he approached his mother, mother said, don't worry, I will give. In those days, 23 years back, his mother gave 30,000 rupees to him. And the money was earned due to savings. Saving how? By selling milk of the cows that she maintained. You know, mothers in rural families, they always maintain cows. They sell milk. And then they get the money. And that is how this lady also was having 30,000 rupees. She gave the entire money to him. And that is how he made his initial investment. You know, he started making all kinds of experiments. In about 4 or 5 years, he became very successful. He came out with a machine. And what was the cost of the machine? The cost of the machine was about 40 lakhs. What was the cost of the machine that the MNC multinational company was making and selling it in Tirupur? 1.25 crores. So at 1/3 of the cost, this youngster made a new machine with much better facilities. So he immediately put it up in the international show exhibition. It became successful immediately because somebody giving machine at 1/3 of the existing cost. Naturally, people would prefer to come and buy. So it became an immediate hit. So he began selling that machine, and he threw out that multinational company out of India. Today he is the sole supplier for this particular machine, not just in India, but all neighboring countries, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, all textile industry countries. So he became very, very successful today. He is one of the role models for many of the entrepreneurs, because with his native capacity, he made it possible, and today his company is one of the internationally known companies. Who is responsible for it? Mother is responsible for it. But for mother, he would not have started that company on his own. So this is how wherever we go, we get to hear stories of the women folk contributing to the family business, family economy. I was about 10-12 years back, I was invited to Vivekananda College, Namakkal. There is a Vivekananda group of colleges, not one college. At that time, they told me that they were having about 24 institutions, all named after Vivekananda, all for girl students only, no boys. We can see boys only in schools, all 24, 25. Now I was told they have about 26, 27 institutions. They have 7-8 engineering colleges, 7-8 arts colleges, dental college, exclusively for women. The chairman was telling me, sir, we have the largest campus for women in the whole of Asia, even in those times. So I was invited to speak in inaugurate a conference. In fact, at that time, one of my own students from PhD College of Technology, he was the director of the institute. So he came and asked me before organizing this conference, sir, I want to organize a conference. I want you to suggest a theme. I said, you are giving education to so many girl students. You have some topic related to women. I suggested to him, women and management. Let 2 days, 3 days, you discuss about women and management. He accepted, so that was the theme. So that is why I was invited to inaugurate that. And of course, there were people from abroad, like America, etc., and different states of India. So I made a speech based on my own experience. I was narrating as to how women are contributing to the development of economy. The chairman of that college is one person by name Karunanidhi. He was sitting there. In fact, it was the inaugural session. After the inaugural session, I was supposed to come to Coimbatore immediately, PhD College of Technology, for an interview. So I said immediately after the inaugural session, I will go, you have to leave me. So after I completed my speech, the chairman said, because he made initial remarks he had made earlier, he said, sir, you give me 5 minutes more, I want to say something very important. I said, yes, 5 minutes, not a problem. See, he again came to the dais, and then he said, after listening to this professor, now I have to make a confession today. Otherwise, I will feel guilty throughout my life. This is what he said. And then he continued, you all, students, faculty members, have a feeling that I am a very rich man. Yes, today I am rich. I am coming in a BMW car. I have 24 educational institutions, thousands of girl students from different parts of India, from Nepal, Bhutan. They are all studying here. Today I am a rich man. I have all facilities today. Then he narrated his beginning story. He said about 24 years back, I was a very ordinary man having only B.Pharm degree, just B.Pharm, pharmacy degree. At that time he said I was going for a job in a company that was paying only 6,000 rupees. 6,000 rupees. And an incident took place in his life, he narrated. He said, after 4 months of my marriage, I was in my farmhouse one particular Sunday. Some 2 people came to my house and told me, you know, we are running a pharmacy institute, very small institute offering certificate diploma courses in Namakkal. I said, I also know about it. They said, sir, we are from Salem, which is nearby town, about 50-60 kilometers. It is we who promoted that institute, but it is very difficult for us to come from Salem and run this institute. We wanted to close it down. When we approached the government, government said, no, no, you cannot close it as per law, it is not permitted. You have to give it to somebody who has B.Pharm degree. And in Namakkal, we came to know that you are the only person having B.Pharm degree, so you please take it. We will offer you some discount. Then I said, this person, Karnanvi, said, no, no, I can't do it. I am an ordinary person getting some 6,000 rupees. My father has about 3-4 acres, all dry land. I am a newly married man. How can I pay this much money and but get an institute? It is not possible. So you please go. They left. Then immediately after they left, my wife came out of the house and asked me, why did you leave them? You could have taken it. I said, I don't have money. How? I don't have money. I am an ordinary person. Then she said, I have jewelry. Why are you worried? You could have taken it. I said, we are newly married. If I get your jewelry, what will your parents think? What will our relatives think? It's not proper. So the matter was over. Again, after about 1 month, the very same people came to them, meet him. They said, sir, we have searched the entire region, 3-4 districts we have searched. There is nobody with B.Pharm degree. You are the only person available in this region. So somehow you take it, otherwise, we can't run this. Government is not allowing us to close. So we will offer you still more discount, but you help us by agreeing to buy this, take over this institute. But this time my wife came out and said, okay, sir, we will consider your request positively. You come after 1 week. See how ladies speak. They will not say, no, no, we will buy it, you go and come. You come after 1 week, we will try to give positive news. So they went out. Then after that, he said, my wife convinced me, again opportunity is coming, this is God-given opportunity. You immediately enter into an agreement, you take over that institute. Don't worry, I will give all my jewelry to you. You resign your job and then do it. He said, that is how I entered into this education field. He said, in those days, we did not even have a bank in our village, small village. We had only cooperative societies. Youngsters may not know. These cooperative societies, they also offer loans. Especially when we go and pledge our jewelry, they will keep it and offer loans. This is meant for villages and agriculturists. So he said, I took her jewelry, went it to the cooperative society in my village and then pledged it. I got some money and that is how I took over this institute. Today, after 24 years, he said, I have so many institutions and we have Asia's largest women campus. He said, all the success is not due to me, it is due to my wife. This is what he said. He also said, I can now go and take the jewelry because I have enough money. I can buy jewelry also for my wife, whatever quantity she likes. But I want my children to know that all my development is due to her. So I am still keeping that jewelry in the bank, the cooperative bank, paying annually charges for it because I want my children and grandchildren also to know that all this success is due to my wife. Openly he said in the international conference. So like this we hear stories about the contribution of women of India. So whether they are mothers or wives or sisters or grandmothers, they contribute a lot to the economy of this country. So this is a women-oriented economy. Our mentor, Sri Gurumurthy, used to say that India is a feminine-oriented economy. If we see India, our people do not invest money in risky assets. In the Western countries like America, UK, many of the Western countries, people take risk. They invest money. But sometimes, they may not get return at all because, the risky assets, anytime they may face problems and then your investment will go bust. This is possible. If people invest money in stock market, when the companies face difficulties, then you lose your investment. This is what happens. Western countries at one point of time before the global crisis, in America for example, 55% of the people were investing their money either directly or indirectly in stock markets. But Indians do not take risk. Even today, only 2 to 3% of Indian saving goes to stock market. Because it's largely a saving oriented economy. Cautious, safe investment we make. In fact, we made a study, another study in Coimbatore, among the lady teachers who teach stock market subject in Coimbatore colleges. It will be interesting to you. We did this about 10-12 years back. You know, in all management schools today, BBM, MBA departments, there is a special subject which is called security analysis and portfolio management. This teaches the students that the stock market assets are more return oriented than the bank investment. You know, bank gives only fixed rate of interest 8%, 9%. But stock markets, many times, if you are lucky, you get 30%, 40% return. So the subject will discuss only the virtues of investing in stock market. So every day teachers go and teach this. So we wanted to know whether the lady teachers who teach this finance subject, whether they are investing in stocks. You know, we came to know that almost 96-97% of them do not invest money in stock market at all. They invest money only in jewelry, only in banks, only in real estate, houses, building houses and all. We asked them, you are teaching this subject in classroom and why are you not following it? Why do you follow the same method that the ordinary Indians follow? They said, sir, teaching a subject is something different. It is our profession. We have to do it as our duty. But when we make our investment, it is about our future of our children. So we have to be very, very careful. We cannot invest money just like that. We have to be very, very careful. And this is how India has been surviving and prospering as a nation today. Our elders, our mothers and fathers, especially the women folk, they are very, very careful about investment. So this is largely a women-oriented economy. That is why we call it as a feminine economy. So our mothers and sisters play a very, very important role in the entire economic system. As a result, now we are offering a course. Just now I was discussing with your principal in Shastra University since 2017-18. It's called Women in Indian Economy and Society, completely based on our field studies. So today India is safe and India is progressing. India is re-emerging as a powerful nation because of our family system, because of our women folk, because of our community orientation and because of our cultural foundations. So this is very important. You have to understand this. So we are all fortunate today. You know, when we see our newspapers, TVs, we see only the negative news. Something happening here, corruption here, somebody gets killed. You know, these are the news that we read, listen to. But India is largely strong society, fundamentally strong economy. We have enormous advantages here as a nation. Our family system, social systems, cultural foundations, these are all very strong. That is why, in spite of the difficulties during the last 1000 years, still we are surviving and prospering as a powerful nation. This we have to understand. Especially youngsters like you are more fortunate than elders like us. You are more fortunate because in the last few years, India's respect at the international level is going up. You know, when Prime Minister Modi suggested to the United Nations to adopt June 21st as the International Yoga Day, there were no questions. More than 160 countries immediately accepted. It never happened in the United Nations history. So today, whatever India says, it is accepted. And wherever our Prime Minister goes, he is received. And Pakistan is a terrorist state. And today, Pakistan is ignored by everybody. All countries unanimously agree that Pakistan is not safe. It is not a good country because of our leadership. So we are able to show our leadership at the international level, and India's respect in the international community is increasing every day. So as a result, many foreign universities, research bodies are coming here to study India. You know, some 10 years back itself, people from MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, one of the leading institutions in the world, technological institution. Their professors came to Tirupur to study how Tirupur is functioning as a powerful export center. Now there are many universities coming to study India. This we have to understand. Our family system may be very normal to us, but for the Westerners, it is a model. It is a model. Our society may be very normal to us, but for the Westerners, it is model. Because when you compare our situation with the international situation, then you will understand the positive aspects of India. We have very many positive aspects, not just with regard to economy, with regard to business, with regard to society. You know, some 4 professors from very famous management institute called Kellogg Institute, they came here to India about a few years back. There is one professor, management professor, very famous person by name Peter Capelli. They came here, 4 of them, their team came here to study as to how Indian corporates are able to succeed in business when the American corporations are facing difficulties. They have enormous difficulties. They came here, they interviewed the chief executives of 98 companies in India, Tata's, Birla's, Reliance, State Bank of India. Then after that they wrote a book. The title of the book itself would be revealing. The title says, Leadership Lessons from India. They say that India offers leadership lessons to American corporates, to the Western corporates, and that is how we are strong. We don't understand this because this is not being discussed in TV shows. This is not explained in newspapers, presented in newspapers, not even discussed in conferences, seminars. This is the problem. So we have enormous strengths. And it is not just our economy, business, even our social systems are being studied. You know, now Kumbh Mela is happening in Prayag, Uttar Pradesh. The previous Kumbh Mela happened in 2013. 7 institutions from Harvard University, Harvard Technical College, Harvard Engineering College, Harvard Medical College, they all came here to study the Kumbh Mela. You know, in a period of just about 45, 50 days, 10 crore people, 20 crore people get assembled in a particular place. There are no invitations. Nobody invites you to go to Kumbh Mela. On the basis of calendar, Panchangam, on the basis of your CS, saints, we come to know about it. Millions of people go there, stay there for one day, take bath in Ganges, take bath in the holy rivers, pray God, and then disassemble. No problem, nothing happens. You know, an entire Australia moves from one place to another place. During the Maunya Amavasa days, 10 crore people, 100 million people, a Westerner cannot even imagine this. And this is happening naturally here. This has been happening for several centuries in India. India is a unique country. This you have to understand. So we give a high position to our families, especially our women folk. So you are all lucky. You know, when you come out of the educational institution, a bright future awaits you. In fact, being Indian itself is going to be brand for you, because every day the respect for India is going up. I want all of you to understand this. You know, our family system, our culture, our parents play a very, very important role in our life. Not just in our individual life, but in the development of India, development of Indian economy, Indian societies. So as a result now, the Westerners who normally feels, you know, they are superior, the thinkers of Western countries, they welcome India emerging as a power. You know, it is something unexpected, but they welcome India emerging as a power. Why? Because when the Western countries, whether it was America, Russia or powers, when they were powers during the last 200 years, there were problems. They tried to dominate other countries. They tried to impose their beliefs. And that is how India was destroyed by the Britishers. You know, Englishmen, these Europeans destroyed different parts of the world. 2000 years back, the world was a very peaceful place without any problem. But in the last 2000 years, religious wars, imposition of ideologies, as a result, world is suffering today. So everybody knows, as long as India remained as a powerful nation at the global level, the world was peaceful, because we never imposed our ideas our views on others. But others took and went out with our own ideas. Some time back, there was in 1960s, there was a very famous intellectual in China. He was Chinese ambassador to United Nations. He said, intellectually, we were dominated by the thoughts of India. India conquered us without sending even a single soldier. So we did not send our soldiers go and occupy other countries. Our ideas, idea of this family system, idea of our Vasudeva Kudumbakam reached out to the whole of Asia from here. So as a result, today, out of the global savings, 70% of the savings take place in India, Asia. How? Because the idea of family system went out from here. So whether it is China or Japan or Korea or all other countries, they have all strong family systems due to the Indian thoughts. Buddhist way of life is nothing but Hindu way of life in a different form. So this is how the entire Asia is dominated by the family system today. So as a result, now Western thinkers are welcoming India to emerge as a power. There is a very famous professor by name Jean-Pierre Lehman. He is working in an institute called IMI, Management Institute in Switzerland. There was earlier, even today, there is an organization called WTO, World Trade Organization. Earlier it was very, very powerful. This World Trade Organization regulates the global trade. This Jean-Pierre Lehman was advisor to WTO. You know, during the beginning of this millennium, 2001, he wrote a very big article about the 1,000 years that we are going to see, third millennium according to them, 2001 to 2999. So about third millennium. So in that article, he wrote about different countries, China, America, Gulf countries, different parts of the world. You know, what will be the future of each of these regions, countries, and who should be our leader. You know, after analyzing all the countries, he said, India is the only country that can provide leadership to the whole world. He said, we all have to welcome India, we meaning Westerners. We all have to welcome India emerging as a global power, politically, culturally and economically. This is what he said. So now the entire world is welcoming us, expecting us to deliver, and you are going to be the ambassadors of India, our civilization, especially girl children. So you have a huge responsibility. You have a huge responsibility to you. Being Indian girl is something unique. You know, no other country gives such respect to you, such a kind of respect to you. So you carry huge responsibility upon your shoulders. Our entire civilizational future depends on you. So I want all of you to understand the background of India, and when India emerges, really emerges as a power in the near future, you will have a very, very important role. Thank you very much.